Welcome, welcome. My name is Peter Leyden. I'm the director of the New Politics Institute. And for those of you that don't know the New Politics Institute, it's a think tank that's helping progressives understand the changes in technology, media, demographics in the country, and how that's affecting the transformation of politics. I run this out of San Francisco, so it's in town right now, and that's one of the reasons I'm the only guy without a tie on here, so I'm sorry, the California guy. We're an affiliate of NDN, and for those of you who don't know NDN, NDN's one of the leading progressive think tanks and advocacy centers here in Washington. It was founded by Simon Rosenberg, who's the president of it as well, and Simon is also the founder of NPI, which is that I run now. And we are, both organizations, welcoming you here to what is going to be a terrific event here on the Uncharted political terrain of 2008. And we want to welcome everybody here in the audience. This is about as capacity a crowd as we can get. I think we've maxed out on all the chairs, and for fire hazard reasons, we can't bring any more in. So it's but great for coming out here. We've obviously struck some kind of nerve if people want to talk about this. But we're also going to welcome our, we always video this with Politics TV, web video. And so we'll be having this out on the web within a couple days here. So we want to welcome that audience as well. And we have C-SPAN here, special guests. They come to some of these. And it's great to have them on as well as other people in the media. So thank you all for coming here for this terrific celebration we're going to have today of what is going on in politics. Now, our perspective is, you've been getting a lot of the day-to-day kind of look at the horse race. You've been looking at the weekly kind of obsession of the media. A lot of things, what we're trying to do is step back a little bit from that, take stock, look a little bit more at the big picture, and understand the kind of the higher strategic terrain of what's really happening in this really historic election. And it's one of the things that Simon and I have been doing a lot of. In fact, as Simon mentioned, we laid this out in the December issue of Mother Jones, end of the year here, a story called The 50-Year Strategy, in which we basically took, which you can basically get at the front door here, we've got copies of it. But it was really looking from a big picture strategy to what extent we're watching a fundamental, a serious collapse of the conservative brand, creating a political opening that really is a rare thing in American politics, but also how the rise of the use of new tools is really transforming the way we do politics, how the involvement of new constituencies, of a range of different new constituencies, but particularly young people we look in this article, and also Hispanics, are changing the whole calculation of politics, and how this is also, politics is now starting to address the next generation of big issues, 21st century challenges. And how all three of these major structural things happening in politics are coming together in this 2008 election. And so, excuse me, so we're not really just talking about a 2008 election, but in fact we're talking about a really new era here of politics that could be opening up. And that's what this piece is about, and we're going to actually reflect a little bit on this in the discussion here with the folks here, that kind of framing. But before I just want to say this, just to remember, when you take this step back, big picture perspective, we just have to marvel for a minute here on what we're really able to witness in this election cycle. I mean, this is such a rare opportunity to see this fundamental change happening in politics. I mean, on the one hand, we've got just look at how much money has been raised, historic levels of money being raised. Just look at how many people are able to participate through these new tools of politics on a level that we haven't really seen. Look at the new media. We didn't even have web video barely 4 years ago in the last cycle, and now it's actually playing a role. Text messaging wasn't even happening. It's starting to happen now. And to help us understand that kind of shift that's going on here, among other things, we've got Joe Trippi, who, those of you know Joe, Joe was really one of the pioneers who really started this whole shift of politics in the 2004 cycle with Howard Dean. He's just off the Edwards campaign where he's the chief strategist there and really was bringing it to a higher level. And he's going to be able to really talk on a level that nobody else in American politics can today about what kind of new era that we're entering into in this kind of thing, give an assessment of that, and also look towards the general election of how that might fare with the Republicans. On the other hand, there's been incredible levels of participation in our politics with women, African Americans, particularly energized by the candidates, but also we've been seeing an incredible number of young people coming into the polls, people that normally you think of young people as more alienated, cynical about politics, but in fact we're finding just the opposite, a real energized millennial generations, we talk about them, taking a higher share of the electorate, but also Hispanics. Hispanics has been a huge kind of shift in politics, both in the Democratic nomination process here, but also in the general. And to do that, we've got Andres Ramirez, who's going to basically talk to us about that particular shift in politics. Andres is now the new head of the Hispanic Strategy, what used to be considered the Hispanic Strategy Center. It's essentially the Hispanic Studies section of NDN. And he is replacing, for those of you who know, Joe Garcia, who's actually running for Congress now down in Miami and is unfortunately left us. But Andres is going to have a good way to frame that. The third kind of thing that's happening, I mean, there's all kinds of extraordinary things happening in politics beyond those big kind of things. You know, we've got the collapse of this conservative brand. We've got a kind of a trying to transcend race in politics, trying to pull together a new map of the electoral map of politics. And for a lot of these things and many others, Simon Rosenberg, as I already introduced, is also going to touch on all the other big themes, or many of the other big themes that are coming together in this historic election. And he'll be doing that. And then the final one we'll be talking about is it's not just about president, the presidential election, as big as that is, and as innovative as that is. But in fact, it's really also, we have a big opportunity in the Senate, huge number of openings there, the House, and to what extent we've got, you know, is there going to be a transformation or a big shift in the Congress as well coming in the fall. And we've got with us there Amy Walter, who is not here right this second because she's on deadline at Hotline. She's the editor-in-chief of Hotline, the National Journal, and she will be coming in momentarily, and as she does, she'll slip in and be able to talk about that. Terrific panel, a great group. They can talk about anything. I'm not going to shoehorn them in there into that. Those are their boxes so they can roam wide. And there are people in this audience here that I know could just as well be up here. So we're going to have plenty of time of discussion after this. So each person is going to basically do 10 minutes about their space, give their reflections on this election, and then we're going to basically open up to all of you. Now, before I basically jump right into it here, I do want to say, put one more piece of context in here, is that this event is in the context of another kind of event that we're going to be putting on here literally 3 weeks from today. 3 weeks from today, we're going to be doing an all-day event, essentially a conference, you could say, at the Capitol Hilton. And it's basically going to be called, it's called A Moment of Transformation, a look at just how big a change is coming to politics, America, and the world. It seems like a lofty title here, but I want to just put it this way. As much as we're talking about the transformation of politics today and how fundamentally and how amazing that is, the transformation in politics is really part of a even larger transformation going on here in America and the world as we kind of transition to the 21st century. There are shifts in technology right now, not just computer technologies, biotechnologies, clean energy technologies that really are on a scale that is really starting to disrupt, maybe make a big impact on how we can run the economy. The economy itself, even though we've been talking about globalization for a long time, we have now hit a point in the global economy where we are so interconnected globally that it is really fundamentally altering the way we run the economy here in the States and having repercussions all the way down to how people get paid at the very lowest level. We have to reframe our economics around this fundamental economic restructuring. World power is being shifted. With the rise of China, India, and others based on this kind of economic reshuffling, the 21st century, early 21st century geopolitics is going to be very different. And for what we're doing for this day, oh, here's Amy. Great to see you. So what we're going to do for this day is have experts in all these different fields, China experts, energy experts, all kinds of folks, come and talk about the transformations in their fields, what they see as literally historic level transformations happening in their fields, and we're going to start to think through how this affects politics. Because one of the themes of politics has been change, big change, and even transformative change. It's been the rhetoric, particularly on the Democratic side. It's really starting to resonate with voters. It's exciting a lot of people. And so that event, we're going to start to think about the implications of what really this means. When we talk transformative change, what are we really talking about here? And to what extent in this next cycle, after this next election in November, are we really going to see an era that will rival maybe on the handful of other times in American history, big structural shifts in our society, economics, foreign policy that refashions how America relates to the world and how Americans actually will thrive or not in that world. That's the kind of level, big picture we're doing there today. So from the meta of 3 weeks from now, March 12th, we also have some flyers on this. March 12th, on your way out, you can take this or go to our website at ndn.org or newpolitics.net. Get more information on that. But now we're going to turn back to what is in and of itself a massive transformation. One that's brought you all here today is to talk about this historic election and the big picture going on here.